Mic test, mic test. Is this thing on? Okay, I'm gonna give you a quick disclaimer here, or disclosure. I'm making Mecha inspired from combination of Gundam and Transformers, but as you can see here, so bear with me. I tried to open all the files that I made here after I made my personal hobby. So I've been struck here with the gem. So I've been struck here with adding gems, something similar to the Raijin O or Engraved series. You know the Garden X with that spherical ore-like gem here. This is what I made some a little bit different here. And those legs, I added more color here with the gold. So intentionally, I'm trying to simulate the similar to the Transformers G1 style with more panels, but I'm still ended up looking like panels from the Gundam. Okay, is this thing on? Okay. Tried to make it a blocking G1 style, but I ended up looking like a legs from the similar to the path in between Path Labor and instead of Gundam. And there's nothing much mathematical for the hammer. Just a simple one color. Well, unless I'm gonna make it for a heavy, long personal project backed by finance. So I just focus on the similar one color only, nothing special. Backed by special lighting effects here. As you can see, it looks kind of cinematic. I'm not gonna play here because if I do, it kind of lags. It's only FPS. And for your information, I'm using a Razer gaming laptop here. I used it when one of my coworkers gave me a free laptop in order to start the Coconut NFT Club project, making some NFT 3D model. But now it's kind of declined due to the dominance of the popular demand of investing cryptocurrency. I'm an XRP holder. Anyway, I cannot play it, so I'm gonna give you a time lapse here. This is how I start from the intro here. So the long format of this Mega play is around 2 minutes in Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, but I'm focusing mainly on the Facebook, while the short 1 minute video is on Instagram. I mean YouTube, sorry. So there's a difference here in the YouTube version and in Facebook. Just for my variation. Right now, I'm stuck with a very low 56, probably due to algorithm, which I understand here. The rest here are some introduction video of this new enemy mecha that I use. One of my dummy mechas here to preview with my called what do you call the name of mecha? Obsidian Kaiser. That's inspired from the Dakuga. More like Dankuga style. After I decide to add some black color here, I'm trying to make close to the Garden X aesthetic. Probably like 7 changer, but I ended up look like a Dankuga. That's because personally I love black and white. Very attractive color that works well with the blue and green. The gems here, what I did here, I'm using with the solidify, and for the material of the gem, obviously I added some slightly translucent and keep it the shadow mode opaque, alpha blend here to make it look see-through gem, just like that. Flashing light. I didn't use the emission. Instead, I slapped it in some what do you call this? The light point here to give it a nice refraction. Trying to simulate similar to the light piping from the G1 toys here in the 90s. That's what I expect here. Well, shout out to Pia. I don't know if some of the classic toys demonstrating light piping feature. I didn't use backface culling because it doesn't look like a good gem. It's kind of ugly, so I keep it alpha blend without backface culling to make it more accurate like a gem. Same here with the blue. It looks like the Kurosawa is like an ace in Armored Core, but this inspiration of this laser rifle with the black and orange, taken from the Spirit rifle from Armored Core Nexus to Last Raven, because it looks badass. I forgot the model name here in Ace Combat in Armored Core 3 version, but I call it the Spirit Rifle. You can Google it. And trying to get this modernized version of the laser rifle here. The first laser rifle I created from Gun Dynamite that is inspired from RX-78 Gundam in my own version here, based on the Signature rifle. This one I tried to modernize it specifically for the in Zeta Gundam RX-78-2 Camille Beaton's Burst Mobile Suit. Since I got some Dankube aesthetics, so I give it some signature visor. Well, kind of looks like Annihilator from Armored Core Master of Arena. Look at that. I treated the same thing as the main green gem and the blue gem, and I add some point light here to make it lovely reflections. Main eyes with the check. Okay, I gotta make sure it's still running on speaker. Just simple emission of the eyes, and then spotlight here inside to make it look a realistic glow, kind of similar to the rear lights of a car. Unlike here, it's completely illuminating. That's about it. Keep it simple, but additional details probably either using with this Blender toolkit like this one. So it's always free and non-commercial, but always know about the conditions here. Me, I'm taking a risk like a jackass. Well, that's how it. Oh yeah. Dark light here. Boom. Let's see, there's transition of the lighting color here. Okay, I'm not gonna go in details, but we're gonna check it out on the full version here. Now, if we're gonna say that it's all AI, well, I'm gonna ensure that the authenticity is all animated here. Maybe when I'm making a group of enemies, I'm gonna have to rely on AI, but just to know, I'm a certified programmer. If you remember about when the Optimus Prime expired Mecha, when I'm trying to make an animation between one Optimus Prime like robot against 1,000 bobblehead looking robot. And since I'm still looking for the sideline, I'm gonna use the AI to make a group of enemies here. Well, for the hobbies it's okay, but if you're gonna make a major project and want to make some authenticity of making one versus many, you're gonna have to make a manual animation. But for my personal project here, and out of frustration, let's say relaxing animation, one main robot, I'm doing the for manual animation, while the enemy robots, especially group of enemy robots here, the Celluloid, you can check it out on in the YouTube channel. I use some AI assist to make the effects of being destroyed or flight. So you better understand here. Anyway, let's continue with this another scene here. This is where the giant red Mecha fire a red beam. I know what in the Gundam looks like when they try to deflect a beam with the eye field generator or that anti-laser barrier from Gundam Seed Freedom. It acts like turn into a spreadshot like laser when deflecting. Use some random shit here with this orb. Effect color, I just picked it from the Blender toolkit here. It looks like a shotgun or explosive muzzle flash, but I tried to make it angled that looks like similarly almost close to the deflected laser with a barrier, and make sure that it doesn't look like a muzzle flash from a laser unless you're gonna have to change the different angle and the shape here. It's about the illusionary perspective to make it seem right if this laser effect here looks like deflected or not. This is from the running here, I believe here. Nothing else here. Okay, on the third one, this is from the ending scene here. yeah, it could be a little tedious on making actual buildings, but effectively, just a simple black cubes with deform scale, a simple emission of moonlight color. Looks pretty good, don't they? To act as a wallpaper art. And to give an illusionary light bounce from the moon, I put some light here. Let me show you. This is from the area on the top here, like that. This will give a nice illusion of the moon reflection. You may use HDR, but you're gonna have to put the precise aiming of the light where the direction, where the location of the sun is, HDR. But it will be better this way. Just keep it simple like that. Study some optic illusion. Additional light here because I want to make it look visible and nice. And I give some a little illusionary effect of the shadow color. Some sort of realism. Just like the same thing in daylight. The color of the sunlight that hits you is golden yellowish color, while the shadow color is the similar color of the sky. Something like that. This was obviously when I'm trying to destroy this giant monster here. The number of frames here is ridiculously from 1 to 1200. But there are times that during the middle of the progress in rendering into an MP4 file, there are times that it tends to crash. So I decided to make it in batch for part 1 of the scene of this fighting to end fight. First scene always 1 to 100 frames, and then the second batch will be 200 to 500 frames, just like what I did here. Oopsie daisy. Sorry, Kayla. Test fire, thumbnail. You can see here I give a labeling plasma rifle 250 by 600. This is still part in this file here to prevent from missing out or crash. Pretty unique though when you try to combine all together, and if some part of the scene that you don't like and you want to appear that part of the scene later on, you may switch it via video editing software. I prefer the shortcut. Cost effective. But if you invest something big, you gotta go for the better video editing software like the Adobe Premiere. You may also use DaVinci, but I'm gonna keep it with simple video editing like the shortcut. Here are my revisions here, including the revised version. This is the first version, but there's a little different here. The revised version, I added some sound effects or improved scene, and then I combined it with the final one using this file here, and I got an alternate ending. I got 2 versions here, but I picked which one's the best. Test fire, Obsidian. Oh yeah, I didn't. I hide the numbers here. Oh yeah, there is one. Dash 00001. Intro phase, intro. I give it a temporary name Kayla, but I didn't mean to offend it. But I'm gonna use it for the. You know, with artists, as an artist, you're gonna make some reflections here, but you're gonna have to make something to respect out of it. So don't try to be like me using somebody's face here. But you can use it as a representation to do that yourself. When making animation, it's like also the same thing as a painter when you try to express the effects, the color, the mood. When you are a solo animator, it's the same thing as a solo painter. It's all about expression. Here's the part here where I made some laser attack scene. I give it a little optic illusion with the laser Turns out like a giant laser blade. I tried to scale in X and Y axis, but it turns out I didn't evenly distribute the adjustment of X and Y axis of the scale. X and Z probably, my bad. Local. I still stick the fire effects here I took from the tutorials. I just simply change the color and the amber. You can see the dark out here. This is where I made some scene by batch in order to give some better assortment to think which part of the scene should I put or add or switch places here. This is the part of the scene where this robot appears at the side. If you look closely, frame by frame, so bear with me, the speed is kind of a little laggy here as I open a lot of these blenders. But actually, if you open only one, actually moves a bit faster. I also give some illusion of making this robot moving a straight way. It's actually the camera and not the robot itself. Well, as long as the background is dark, at least it's kind of nice. Or otherwise, you're gonna have to associate with the background and the camera. Kind of need a little coordination. Oh, negative. Look. See, something like that. Boom. I'm gonna close this for a while here to see the enemy mech. I love this hanger. Freaking beautiful. And now for the incelluloid monster. The finalist version, I give it the name Killanoid. Maybe I made some little brainstorming with Cloud or Gemini to give a, not because of the fancy name, but it will help me to organize the thoughts of the description, the grammar, and the sense of the description. So the name here, Killanoid, it came out to my mind here, probably because it's red, big claws. Took it from the silly looking version of my Big Zap, recycled, turned into a bird-like mecha monster. Obviously, it's took from the inspiration of the Gundam's Heaven Sword and Walter Gundam combined. Maybe because of the claws and the giant face here. And remember, do not use the giant face like I did here, out of hatred. Remember, art is expression, and if you're gonna plan it, you're gonna have to something like reflecting about your rivalry with inside their shadow. Maybe I'm gonna make my own version, making my next inhaler using my own face to deep dive with my shadow side. That's how I make an enemy. Sometimes even make something ridiculous to bully others, but it is still not recommended to use animation to harm them. I use the video here to deep dive the reflection of oneself. Could be a way to insult them, or in a human way, it's the way to deep dive their inner strength. Well, there are two sides of a person. The strength comes from the humane side, and one at the dark side. And to make give a villainous enemy look with a respectable way, I want to see the part of the dark side to make the fighting scene look more interesting. Remember I said, animation, making your 3D models put in the scene is the same way as a lone painter making a nice expression through painting, through colors, expression, yada yada yada. So I added a big head here of the Tanatai heads to make it look like a birdish looking monster. So I'm gonna give you why it's Gundam Helmet Sword plus Walter Gundam inspired. Walter Gundam. The joint here of Walter Gundam probably it's a little not so perfect and not realistic way to represent the mechanics, but it's okay. It will give some camera illusion to make it look like it's similarly realistic joints here. Big arms, this is from Gundam Helmet Sword. And simple to attacks. Powerful laser from its holographic head, because I had some emissions on the head. This is on the Berserk mode. This is her full power. Minus is a little bit allergic, probably flying dust. But it won't trigger when I keep my mouth shut and breathe properly. Engine pothole, excuse me. This is the engine booster. But I did add some flame here during the video here because it will save a lot of stress from lagging, because adding thruster VFX took a lot of it. Unless you gotta plan on a green screen and make the whole body as a green screen too. Kind of worth it, especially during the production, but in my relaxing manner for hobby, probably just straight up. Even it took an hour to make a simple freaking 8-second vid, but worth it. Therapeutic. Remember, you're not here to make some projects for animation. You're just here for just a relaxation. Take your time. Well, that's about it. So, to close this up, I'm gonna return it back. Yeah, really, AT. To close the video here, I'm gonna leave it with a nice angle of Dan Cougar Gundam mashed up. What does it look like without the blue? It looks like I'm watching with the PlayStation 2 version. Unless we're gonna make a group viewer like that. Anyway, hope you enjoy it, and this is my vlog, and see you around here.
Good night.